Bienvenidos a la clase de Español 2. Hoy es el capítulo 11, lección 2, pruebita, y vamos a introducir lección 3, parte 1. So today we are going to be in chapter 11. We're going to take our quiz over 11.2. And then once that quiz is done, we're going to introduce 3.1 as we move into our next lesson for this chapter. So after the quiz is done, we'll look at 3.1 introduction. That'll be a review of Colossians 4:3. We'll look at a short reading that's going to give us some more information about witnessing, sharing the gospel. And then we'll look at a Bible reading that we're all familiar with in English, Ephesians 6:13 through 17, about the armor of God. So let's go ahead and get started. Reminder, when you take this quiz, your language lab on Quizlet should be done by this point, so make sure that's done before you take this quiz. If that's all set and ready to go, let's go ahead and proceed with quiz 11.2. Get that quiz out. Let's get that done, and as soon as you have that done, you can get that turned in. All right, I will get that quiz graded and get that back to you just as soon as I can. I hope you did well on it. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's go ahead and move on into 11.3 as we introduce this next lesson. Remember, we have been going over Colossians 4:3, Colosenses 4:3. This is our verse for this chapter. Remember that you will need to be able to write this verse out for the chapter 11 test. Why don't you say this verse with me, clase? Colosenses 4:3. Orando también al mismo tiempo por nosotros, para que el Señor nos abra puerta para la palabra, a fin de dar a conocer el misterio de Cristo. Colosenses 4:3. ¿Qué palabra nos falta aquí, clase? Tiempo, time, tiempo. ¿Y aquí qué palabra nos falta? Conocer, to know, or to be familiar with, conocer. ¿Y aquí qué palabra nos falta? Abra, open, abra. Número 4, ¿qué palabra nos falta? Misterio, mystery, misterio. Número 5, ¿qué palabra nos falta? Mismo, same, mismo. We've been talking about Sevilla, the city of Sevilla, a lot in this chapter. Remember that Sevilla is at the south of the Iberian Peninsula, there to the south of Spain, and it is the capital of the autonomous community of Andalusia. Remember that we talked about how Sevilla has a very strong Arab influence. The Alcázar Castle shows a lot of strong Arabic influence in its construction. Remember that Sevilla is a very important city in Spain's cultural life. It's a very, you could say, happening town, I guess. There's a lot going on there. It would be a great place for a visit. Speaking of a visit, if you haven't watched that video that I put in my playlist yet, make sure you watch that. I think it will give you a very interesting snapshot of what the culture and life is like in the city of Sevilla. En página 294 tenemos un diálogo. We have a dialogue, a conversation with Víctor y Tomás giving the gospel, evangelizar, witnessing to Don Andrés. Let's look at that together in página 294. Víctor y Tomás, estudiantes del Instituto Bíblico Calvario, salieron una tarde para evangelizar. Victor and Thomas, students at Calvary Bible Institute, went out one afternoon in order to witness, in order to evangelize, in order to give the gospel. Víctor tocó a la puerta delantera de una casa grande. Víctor knocked on the front door of a big house. El señor Andrés lo recibió. And Mr. Andrés answered or received him. Después de conversar un rato, Víctor le habló de Jesucristo. After having a conversation for a little bit, Victor spoke to him about Jesus Christ. And you can see that dialogue there. We'll continue to go through this as we proceed through 11.3 in our class time. It wouldn't hurt for you to read through it, though, to try and get an understanding of the conversation that took place between Victor and Don Andrés as he shared the gospel. There at the back side of your lesson, on página 298, we have a Bible reading, Ephesians 6:13 through 17. This is about the armor of God, a passage that we're very familiar with. You read along as I read aloud, Efesios 6:13 a 17. Tomad toda la armadura de Dios, para que podáis resistir en el día malo y habiendo acabado todo, estar firmes. Estad, pues, firmes, ceñidos vuestros lomos con la verdad y vestidos con la coraza de justicia y calzados los pies con el apresto del evangelio de la paz. Sobre todo, tomad el escudo de la fe, con que podáis apagar todos los dardos del fuego del maligno. Y tomad el yelmo de la salvación y la espada del Espíritu, que es la palabra de Dios. Read through that several times. I think you will understand just based on your knowledge of Ephesians 6:13 through 17. But maybe a couple of those words are new to you as you look through that. Okay, a little bit shorter lesson today, but that's all we have. Before we end, I do want to make sure that you are reviewing your Lord's Prayer, El Padre Nuestro. I'm not going to take time to go through it today. We've gone through it a lot, but I hope you are reviewing this on your own. Remember, you will recite the Lord's Prayer by memory on the day of the Chapter 11 test, which is coming up. So make sure you are practicing the Lord's Prayer. You will be graded on both memorization and pronunciation for this prayer. So make sure that you are working on that every single day. So what did we do in class today? We took our quiz 11.2, and I hope that went well for you. Then we introduced 3.1, our next lesson. And we looked at the Colossians 4:3. We reviewed our verse. We did our reading on witnessing. We read a little bit of that, and we'll pick up more of that as we go through. And then we looked at our Bible reading, Ephesians 6:13 through 17. Hope that went well for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you are working on your Quizlet Language Lab so that that's done by the time we take the Lesson 3 quiz. Que Dios les bendiga, clase. Adiós.